Hello, my name is Jeremy Freeborn. I am a mechanical engineering technology major here at Alfred State, and this is my senior project proposal, which is to redesign and build a old-fashioned hydroplane. I've lived my summers on the lake, and I've always really enjoyed building or working on boats, and I've always wanted to build a hydroplane. My father actually has an old-fashioned hydroplane in his barn that currently has a big hole in the bottom of it. And that's kind of where some of the design will come from, but I will discuss that later in this video. Now, what a hydroplane is a small, light boat that when at full throttle is just barely skimming across the water, or as you can see with the boat in the top left of the screen currently, it could be straight up all the way out of the water. Now that boat is a much higher end, higher performance hydroplane than what I will be building, as that one has things like a V8 engine sticking out of the front end. The one I will be building is closer to the one you see on the right hand side of the screen, which is probably slightly covered up with my face. That one is a much smaller, more personal use hydroplane, not a competition use like the one on the other side. These kind of boats have been used for years, and I'm hoping to use an older fashioned design of one in order to build a lighter, faster version of it. This is the design of one I found online called the Saucy Shingle, which is where the basis of my design will come from. It came out of a Popular Mechanics magazine back in March of 1965, and it came with everything you need to know. It told you all the materials you need to buy, all of the dimensions for it, which you can kind of see in the right-hand schematic of the boat. And it seems like a fairly fun little boat, but I think I can improve the design in order to make the boat faster, lighter, and accelerate faster, and handle better. Some little things I'd like to discuss now that I would be changing on my design is that while this one is built out of plywood, I hope to build mine out of something like aluminum in order to make the materials thinner and also make the boat lighter. This boat had a marked weight of 75 pounds in the magazine. I hope to make my boat weight weigh closer to about 50 pounds by building it out of lighter materials and also redesigning a few of the brace work in order to make it a little bit more efficient. I will also be adding things like making the boat a bit wider. Where you see it narrow on the back half, I don't think my boat will do that. It'll actually stay the same width as the front all the way to the back, as well as I plan on trying to look into things like adding small fins that sit flat with the back of the boat in order to make it push itself up out of the water better, because these boats had a tendency of, at speed, they would stay like this in the water. They wouldn't actually hydroplane up and out unless you climbed all the way up over the front end, whereas that's obviously something you can do. It would make the boat accelerate better if it had small fins off the back, I believe. I would check this over with using SolidWorks software, using their flow simulations. I would also use that in order to design runners on the bottom of the boat in order to make it slice through the water, or keep a little bit of the boat down in the water to slice into it in order to give the boat some type of traction when turning. That was another problem these boats could run into, was the boat wouldn't actually steer very the boat actually wouldn't steer very well because of the fact that it didn't have any real traction with the water. So you'd turn the engine and the boat would just skid sideways across the water and not actually cut in and turn a little bit. Now, one thing I haven't discussed much is how I plan to power the boat, and as you can see in that picture, it's designed to be powered by an outboard engine. These outboard engines could only be about a 15 to 20 horsepower engine, and they would get the boat going pretty well. This boat with a 175-pound rider is marked to have a top speed of around 30 miles an hour, and that's not bad when you're only sitting a few inches off the water. However, I believe I know of a power system that could make it much faster, and I've used another more classic idea of a power boat in order to do this, and that is with a jet engine. Now, these boats are much bigger, more expensive versions than I could build. Maybe someday when I'm rich and famous I could build one, but that day is not today. So I hope in order these boats would be powered off of something like a big black Olds or a big black Chevy or something like that, and have a massive jet sticking out of the back of the boat. But they would still only sit a few inches out of the water, and they would just slide across the top for the most part. They would be a little into the water just due to the weight of the engine in the back. But the kind of propulsion, I plan on using a smaller version of this propulsion, which would come out of a jet ski. And as you can see in the image to the left, the water will come up into the bottom of top left. The water will come up into the bottom through a jet port, through the jet of the vehicle, and then out the back, being powered by just a small 3-cylinder engine like you can see on the right side of the screen. And this would be taken out of some cheap Craigslist jet ski that I can find, and I believe this would be a much more powerful, more efficient way of powering the boat down the water than some heavy outboard engine that also has to have things like full drivetrain, which would give it forward and reverse. This won't have any reverse, but I'm not too concerned about having reverse due to the fact that the boat's only going to be about 8 feet long. I believe this would make the boat much faster and much more enjoyable and much more exciting as well when driving it down the lake. Here you can see all of the references from where I found the pictures, and I just accidentally ended the slideshow. That's alright. That's about everything I have planned for this. This boat would get full designs, and then I would go through and I would use the things like buoyancy laws in order to make sure the boat would float well, center of gravity in order to make the boat plane nicely and make it so it will accelerate nicely, and other things that would be used as well. And one major thing I would use from my years here at Alfred is SolidWorks. I would be using SolidWorks to design how the water will get flowed under the boat, as in I'm not sure if I'm fully, I will definitely be trying at using SolidWorks in order to design the whole boat, although something tells me for the most part that will be done in more of CAD or with simple design changes during the build. I hope that you take this project into strong consideration and allow me to pursue with it. You can contact me at the email in the description of this video, and I thank you for your time, and please let me know what you think. Thank you.